So I had weight loss surgery last year, December 5th. I have, it's changed my life. And sorry for the messed up hair. And I got my blanket on, and my house looks, but I was trying for many years to lose weight, to become healthy, and tried everything. Tried the fat diets, tried all the different weight loss pills, weight loss drinks, you name it, I went for it. So I did my research and hold on. Yeah, you gotta love it. My jerky, protein, gotta have my protein. So I did my research and decided that weight loss surgery was something that I was going to look into. So did research, and there's the lap band, there's the gastric sleeve, there's a gastric bypass. Now they have the balloon, where they actually put a balloon in your stomach and they blow it up. And it makes it so there's less room in your stomach for food to go, and so you'll eat less, blah, 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 without having to do all the cutting and, removing of some of the other surgeries like the sleeve and the bypass. So it's a little less invasive, but for me, it was too close to the lap band, which, you're having something placed into your body, a foreign body into your body that is supposed to regulate, how much you're able to eat at any one time. So I was like, well, so I'm gonna look at the sleeve and I'm gonna look at the bypass. So I ultimately decided on the gastric bypass, where they don't remove your stomach like they do with the sleeve. What they do instead is they rearrange your insides, and they make your stomach smaller. It's called a pouch by those of us in the weight loss community. And you can fit up to about a cup at one time, like a measuring cup, like 1 cup, of food or liquid at any one time. And so I was like, okay, you basically lose weight due to malabsorption, because with such a small stomach, your food, your drink is only in there for a very small amount of time. So it's less time for your stomach to break that down and get all your nutrients. So, you have to have your multivitamins, you have to have all your supplements. And so I decided that because of my type 2 diabetes, because of my high blood pressure, because of my high cholesterol, and the fact that I was going to the gym 5 days a week regularly for over a year and could not get out of the 200s. I think the lowest I got was like in the 220s. And then I fell, hurt my knee, and couldn't do jack shit because can't walk. Ended up having to have knee surgery, and what we thought was a torn meniscus was actually worse. I had little pieces of bone and kneecap floating around in my joint. So, everything's going like this, and it's so, yeah, lots of pain, lots of fun. So I ballooned back up. My highest weight was 276. And had managed to get down to about 240 pounds for surgery day last year. I weighed myself yesterday, and I am 154 pounds. I've not weighed this little since, I want to say, like grade school. Because I think when I graduated, I was around 160. From 8th grade, like around 160, 165 now. Granted, that was primarily muscle because I was very physically active. My generation, since I'm 40, when you're a kid, the sun comes up, you have your breakfast, do your chores, you're out the door. You don't come back home except to get something to eat, drink, use the toilet, and run back out, and you don't come home until it's time for dinner, or the streetlights come on. So I was very fit. Sadly, getting older, having kids, I got lazy. I'm live streaming, FYI.
Okay, good night.
So good night. Love you. See you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Yeah, I got lazy. I will admit. I had kids and I ballooned up, and 1999 was the last time I was under 200 pounds. So, got lazy, got fat. That's what happened. Got pregnant. That's what started the high blood pressure. And I'm pretty sure I was pre-diabetic by then, but did not get diagnosed until about 4 to 5 years ago. I was doing an oral medication called metformin, 1,000 milligram rapid release twice a day. And then about 2 years ago, I went on the Trulicity, about 2 and a half, 2 years ago, the Trulicity once a week injection. So my blood sugars were like, pew. And at one point, I went to the emergency room because they kept climbing, even with the medication. And I was worried that, something was going to go really wrong. So because of that and the high blood pressure, I was not diagnosed for a while because of a whole bunch of personal reasons I'm just not going to get into right now. And I went to an oral surgeon to have some teeth pulled due to, not going to a primary doctor and having children. They sucked the calcium, so I was chewing on enamel. Pieces were breaking off, so I needed teeth pulled. I had dentures top and bottom. They're nice. I love them. So I went to this appointment, and I had a few other teeth removed prior to that, and they didn't, worry about my blood pressure. Well, this time they happened to take my blood pressure, and he was like, I'm not doing the surgery. You need to go across the street to the emergency room. I went, what? Said, you should be dead right now, or at least having a stroke. I said, excuse me? He says, yeah, your blood pressure is 226 over 147. He said, you should be stroking out right now. He goes, I don't know how you're surviving right now with your blood pressure this high. He says, you either need to go to your family doctor immediately, or you're going across the street to the emergency room. And if you tell me that you cannot or are not, I'm calling an ambulance for you, and I'm going to have them forcibly take you. I went, let me call my primary doctor, and put me on 3 medications, the highest dosage allowed by law at that time. It was lisinopril, metoprolol, and I can't remember the third one. Needless to say, my blood pressure, because I was medically obese, and I was a fat ass. It was, the side effects were not fun. Especially having to take some of them multiple times a day, and the cumulative effect of them, primarily the drowsiness. Not fun when you're trying to drive to work in the morning and you feel like you're going to fall asleep at the wheel. So yeah, all these lovely side effects of being overweight and not really eating right. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I had a horrendous diet. I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker, not while I was pregnant. I did quit while I was pregnant because I didn't want to hurt my kids. But I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I ate too much, too often, and all the wrong stuff. I was a chocoholic, a sugarholic. I would have 2 pots of coffee a day, which probably did not help the high blood pressure because all that caffeine. But yeah, so, I was doing all the wrong things and was like, I don't need to worry about my health. I'm young. I've got my whole life ahead of me, blah, blah, blah. That whole, when you're older, you're wiser thing. Yeah, it's true, because if I recognized and accepted back then what I know now, I probably would not have had to have weight loss surgery if I had followed a proper diet, if I had exercised like I should have when I was younger. I wouldn't have needed to. Now, after surgery, I have a neck, which I didn't. I looked like a fire plug, literally. Like my shoulders went up into my neck with all the fat. Like you couldn't, there was no neck. Like I have a jawline now, and obviously there's no makeup. You see everything, the lines, the bags. Nothing. This was all, spur of the moment. I was watching Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder, a couple episodes he did last year, earlier this year, I forget when, but about plus size models and about people doing, like social justice warriors stuff, like, being, happy with your body and, accepting people for whatever weight they are and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I will admit, back then it was like, okay, everyone should be happy with who they are. Love yourself for, blah, 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 whatever. But if you've got type 2 diabetes and you actually lost a family member to type 1 diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, if you have, if you're considered medically obese, you should do something about it. Exercise, be more active. Try and make yourself healthier. Eat the right foods. Eat when you should, in the amounts that you should. Do the things that you're supposed to do in order to be healthier. If you just go and say, oh, I'm fat, but I'm happy with who I am, and, it's okay to be big. Big is beautiful. Okay. Big is beautiful is okay if you are healthy. Okay. But being obese is not good for your health. And I'm the first one that, and anyone who has gone through bariatric surgery will tell you that. And it's all well and good to try and preach, that big is beautiful and whatnot. And should accept people for who they are. Yeah. Okay. Accept people for who you are, but, it's not healthy. And you're going to live a shortened lifespan because of all that excess weight, because your heart, your lungs, every organ in your body has to work harder to power all of that fat. And those of us in the weight loss community understand where I'm coming from. They know the sometimes debilitating effects of being obese can have on the body. Now, I was lucky, very, very lucky, in that I was able to get weight loss surgery and have been able to change it. I'm down to 1 pill for my diabetes, and that's a 500 milligram metformin extended release once a day, and 1 blood pressure pill, which is my lisinopril hydrochlorothiazide combo pill, which the hydrochlorothiazide is like it helps with water retention, so it helps flush your system so you're not holding on to fluids, which for me can be, if you have diabetic tendencies or overweight tendencies, you get what's called pitting, where mostly it's the legs, they hold on to so much water that when you push and then lift your finger up, there's a pit left in the skin. My legs were doing that. I retained so much water, and they swell and they hurt, and and it can cause I can't remember what it's called, but there's medical conditions that can happen due to that, and I never wanted to get to that to that level of obesity. And it was bad enough that I was the highest I was 276. And I was not happy. I was not. My mom told me, oh, you're beautiful no matter what. You have such a pretty face. And I'm going to say it, every fat girl out there hates hearing, oh, you have such a pretty face. Okay, yeah, we know we're pretty here, but we want to have how we feel inside, the whole prettiness reflected everywhere. We don't want to hear, oh, you have such a pretty face. We want to feel that we're pretty everywhere. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen. And luckily, had the surgery. Now I have to deal with the lovely little side effects, and I keep staring at my hair because it looks terrible. Oh my God. The lovely little side effects of being so overweight. I have what I used to call fat wings are now bat wings. See, hello, I'm waving and they wave. Now, I am getting, you can see some muscle definition from hitting the gym, and I have collarbones now, which is really cool. And I do this thing where like you can see the tendons. Yeah, I know, not really attractive, but I can actually see the tendons, and I'm getting like that little thing right here, a little hollow in my throat now. And I can see my muscular structure. And I thank God every day. And I'm not going to cry, even though I'm tired and it's 2:41 in the morning. I thank God that I was able to get the surgery. And it has saved my life, and it's been a life changer. And for those of you out there that say, oh, it's the easy way out, no. You have to watch what you eat, when you eat it, how much you eat it. You cannot drink anything a half hour before, while you're eating, and a half hour after. That's an hour and a half minimum. You cannot have anything to drink. And do you know why? Because your tummy is so small that if you drink anything and there's any fluid in there, number one, it's going to flush all that food out. So any nutrients that you would have absorbed while eating, you can't now, because now it's out of the stomach and it's making its way through your intestines. So all that good stuff that you ate, that food that's healthy for you, all that good stuff is gone. It also will make food swell. Now, people who have not had the surgery, you don't really notice it, because, you have a normal sized stomach. But carbs like pasta, rice, breads, crackers, anything that's considered a carb or a bread or things like that, swell. Like, those little toys that you get in the little quarter machines, and you turn it and you put it in water and it goes, yeah. That's what happens in your stomach. So when it does that, there's no room, and you try to eat or you start feeling like that, guess what? It comes back up. And vomiting after a weight loss surgery is not fun. It's not the way it was before. You don't get all the liquids of the bile and all that fun stuff that helps you digest everything. It comes up kind of solid or foamy. Call it the foamies. That is so much fun. Not. And you have to be very, very careful, because if you're like me, prior to my surgery, I would eat really, really fast. And it was more, I enjoyed the flavors, but I think at the same time it was like, well, I need to eat. I need to eat a lot, because growing up it was, you need to clean your plate. There's starving children in Africa that would kill to have one spoonful of your dinner. You clean your plate, and it's like, but the plate's bigger than my head, and more than 90% of the surface is covered in food. It's like this mountain of mashed potatoes, like it's huge. It's bigger than a cantaloupe. Not really, but as a kid, that's my comparison. The portions were huge, and I had to eat it all. Well, you eat quickly, you don't feel full. So you want seconds. So you eat fast again. And depending on how much you're eating, you might have thirds. I would go to a restaurant called Bob's Big Boy. I don't think they're around anymore, but they had a buffet. I would get like 4 plates, like piled high of ribs, barbecue ribs. Oh my gosh, I remember these ribs. They were so good. I would eat like 4 plates of them, and the plates were like the size of my head. And that was, there would be a plate with nothing but bare bones that were left after I inhaled all this meat. I would remember going home and feeling sick because of how much food I ate. Meat swells too when you eat it. I'm talking about food now. I'm starting to get hungry and I'm salivating. I'll have something to drink and then go to bed. And by something to drink, something sugar-free, no carbonation, because that swells your stomach and it can hurt. I don't know, because I've not had anything carbonated in, by now, probably about a year, because I stopped before surgery. But those people that say it's the easy way out, it's not. It is a lifestyle change, and you have to do what you're told every day of your life, every day for the rest of your life. You can gain back. You can fall back into those old habits. And I will admit, it's been less than a year since my surgery, and I have found myself in small amounts, and actually nothing unhealthy, but I will find myself mindlessly munching. Usually it's like a salad or vegetables. It's usually fruits or vegetables that I'll do that with, and I'll just be mindlessly eating. It's like, wait a minute, how much did I just eat? And you don't realize it, because you will fall back into all your old habits if you're not careful. And it's a struggle every day to remember, and relearning how to eat proper portions. And when I say proper portions, it's primary is and this is not an accurate, it's like protein, and then like vegetables, and then like carbs. Like I can have carbs, but very little amounts. My pouch doesn't like them, even though I do. I could sit there, and I did many times, and eat an entire bag of potato chips. Loved them and would eat them. And it would be like once or twice a month, I would go through an entire bag of chips in one sitting. Not proud of it, but I'm honest, because I know I had really bad habits, and I know that I have that tendency. I was a smoker. When I was younger, I would go out partying, and, I drank a lot. I was never an alcoholic, but when I drank a lot. And my two best friends, I don't know how in the hell we survived to adulthood. I really don't, because we drank a lot. We did some stupid stuff, man. But we did it. We made it. And, all these women are deluding themselves into thinking that it's okay to be that big. It's not. You are killing yourself. And I know this because I was big. I am 154 pounds now, and to me, I'm always going to have a fat brain. I can sit here and I have my legs crossed. And it's not like a dude where I've got my ankle up on my knee and that's all I can do because my thighs are so fat. I've got excess skin now. And God willing, next year I will be able to have skin removal surgery so that all this, which, it's thinned out quite a bit, but, it's still, there's excess right there, and it's not comfortable. My boobs should be, higher up. They're not. They're down here. They should be up here, but they're not. I was a double F before surgery. Don't know what I am now, but I am in a large. I haven't been a large since I want to say 6th or 7th grade. I was a triple D in 8th grade, had the biggest boobs in my grade school. And I wasn't fat. I just had big boobs. And then I would show you if I can find it. I don't remember where I put it. It was up there somewhere. Yeah, I was a big girl. And, maybe if I had better eating habits when I was younger, I wouldn't have ballooned up as big as I did. And I regret that. And I've tried to impress upon my children that, good eating habits and good exercise habits will help you lead a healthier life. Um, Fingers crossed that they listen, um, and that, they do what they need to do to be healthy. Um, but I am happy that I've been able to change my life in the way I have. And my husband has been supportive, thankfully, and says he would love me no matter what size. Although he does hope I don't lose too much weight, and I really don't want to look like an anorexic little skeleton, because I've seen some women that have lost way too much. I want to be healthy. That's my goal, and that's why I got approved for surgery. And I just hope that, the proper information given to everyone who really needs to hear it gets out there, so that, all these big women that say, big is beautiful. Yes, but no. You are shortening your life. You are not going to be healthy. And I guarantee you, the majority of them have something wrong with them because of that weight. And they need to change it. And, it's sad to me that, so many people out there are, jumping on this bandwagon of, oh, it's okay to be big. Okay, there's big, then there's medically obese. Okay. And at 276, at 240, pretty much I'm still considered overweight. My BMI is still I'm still over 25. And until I get to a healthy range for my height and age and build, I still consider myself obese, because I'm not healthy yet. I'm getting there. I am a work in progress. And I will be the first to admit I'm going to have more stumbling blocks. I had almost 2 months of a stall. That's where you stop losing weight. You don't really gain it, but you kind of ping pong anywhere like within like 5 to 10 pounds, is what I've been able to determine is like the norm. I did have like an almost 2-month stall where I was around 260 and just could not break that barrier. Well, I finally did the other day. And yesterday morning when I weighed myself was 154. So, it's just don't accept the popular opinions that you hear either on the news, on Facebook, all social medias, because if you're not healthy, you should not be that big. And don't just accept it, do something about it, because it's not about being thin. It's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy. And every woman that I know that has gone through the surgery, and everyone that I've talked to that's had the surgery done, has done it because they want to be healthy. That is our goal. And we're not sellouts because we had the surgery. We're not looking for the easy way out. Now, Garrett, I shouldn't say none of us, because I know there's probably some that are like, okay, well, it's an easy way out because I can have the surgery and then I'm golden. It's not. Don't delude yourself. It is not the easy way out. It's not a quick fix. It is something you have to work at every day for the rest of your life. You have to take your vitamins. You have to take your iron supplements, and you have to take your vitamin D supplements. I take vitamin C as well. I also take glucosamine chondroitin because of my joints and my knee surgery. I have a herniated disc and arthritis in my back, and all of these problems are from being overweight. Well, the knee surgery was because I fell on it, but it was aggravated by being overweight. I take a skin, hair, and nail supplement so that my hair doesn't fall out. I take another multivitamin, and I can't remember what it's called. Calcium supplement, because of the whole malabsorption thing with the bypass. Your bones can be brittle if you don't have enough calcium in your daily diet. And since you can't have whole milk, you can't. Just don't, please, for the love of God and everything that's holy, please don't even try it. Trust me on this. You don't want to do that to yourself. 2%, you might be okay with it. I drink 1%. Skim milk's just water to me, but I can do 1%. So I need to have that calcium. So I take that. You have to take your vitamins every day for the rest of your life. You have to, because if you don't, you're going to get sick. And my son, who came and said goodnight to me, he is 17. He just turned 17. And he just now hit 115 pounds. And come to find out, he has Crohn's disease. And he was anemic. So he has had iron infusions. And he's on a wonderful medication. It's an infusion called Remicade. And it has saved his life. And I'm going to get emotional because it's my little boy. But he just could not gain weight. And I called him my bottomless pit. He could eat meat, but couldn't get an ounce. Guess what? Crohn's disease does that to you. And it also delayed puberty. Now he's 17 and he's back on track. And I can't even stress enough how emotional this year has been and how vital it is that y'all need to make sure you go to the doctor. If you think something's wrong, get blood testing done, because the blood tests and stuff that I had been getting for him, having done with him every 6 months when he was younger, because he just couldn't gain weight, they didn't test for what needed to be tested for. They didn't do the testing needed that would have discovered the Crohn's disease at a younger age. Thankfully, and I say this with mixed emotions, he had pancreatitis at 16. And anyone who has had pancreatitis knows how painful and uncomfortable it is. Well, I say that, as I said, with mixed emotions. I thank God that he ended up with pancreatitis, because if he had not, he may not have the Crohn's diagnosis, which would have been horrible. He would not be gaining weight. He would not have finally started puberty, and he wouldn't be as healthy as he is now. So thank God for pancreatitis. My son is now getting healthy. With my daughter graduated high school in May. My baby's 18. All this stuff in the last year, it's been an emotional roller coaster. And I can't be thankful. I can't be more thankful that I got the surgery, because I'm going to see my kids grow up, see them get married, have kids, or adopt, whichever. My daughter's gay and my son's bi. So if they end up with same sex, I don't know what's going to happen. But I will be able to see them grow up. I'm going to see, 80s, 90s, maybe even my hundreds. God only knows, But now I have that as a potential in my future. And I didn't this time last year. So anyone who is contemplating weight loss surgery, or, has given up on losing weight, you're in that camp where it's like, oh, well, I'm big, I'm beautiful, and I just live with it because I can't lose it. No. Talk to your doctor. If you have, those, and it's like 3 a.m. mitigating factors or comorbidities, I think is the word I'm looking for. God only knows how it's spelled, but comorbidities, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and any other weight-related illnesses. Talk to your doctor and see if weight loss surgery is the way to go for you, because, you don't have to stay heavy. You don't have to stay obese. There are options. Talk to your doctor. And if, you don't know what to expect, or don't know if it's an option, speak to someone that or who knows somebody that has had it done, and see if it's something that, would be an option for you. Don't just settle, which is what I did for so many years. And I'm so happy that I went and bit the bullet and, talked to my doctor, be like, look, I've tried all of this. Help me, please. See if I can get surgery. Do your homework, and talk to people. That's all you have to do. And if you have questions, ask me. I would be more than happy to answer any questions for you. Of course, if I actually get a lot of responses, it might take some time to get back to y'all, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So it is now officially 3 a.m. according to my computer. So I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired and I gotta pee. So I love you guys. Hopefully you have a really good evening or day if you happen to be watching. And, I love you guys and have a good one. I will hopefully be doing this a lot more often. So, we'll see what happens. But bye, have a good one, and take care.